So today we're going to revise a bit of division before moving on to the next topic. The next topic, division, will help us out a lot, so I want to make sure everybody's really confident before moving on to the next topic. So the first 2 points to remember about division. So the first one is that division is the method of sharing a number into equal parts. That word sharing, really important. Okay, we're going to be looking at that a little bit more in the next topic. And also that it's the reverse process of multiplying. So if you had a calculation, say 5 times 3, you're trying to work out what 5 groups of 3 is going to give you. So 5 equal groups of 3. So if we have a look at that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we do this 5 different times. If you actually added up how many are there, that gives you the answer to the multiplication calculation, because that's all it is. Okay, 5 groups of 3, that gives us 15. So if we then wanted to look at the dividing side of things, that's where we have 15 and we want to divide it by 5, say. So we want to divide it into 5 equal groups. So if I look at my 15 little dots that I've drawn, if I divide that into 5 equal groups, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. How many is in each group? Well, there's 3 in each group. So 15 divided by 5 gets us 3. If we then wanted to look at what 15 divided by 3 is, well, it's just the same idea. If you have your 15 little dots and you split it into 3 equal groups this time. So if I do it here, well, there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. And how many are in each this time? Well, there's 5. So hopefully you can see how all 3 of those calculations relate to each other. And that's all multiplication and division are. They're the reverse process of each other. So we're going to put this into a bit more context now. Okay, we're going to work through a couple of questions together. So the first one says, I cut my cake into 16 pieces to share with my friends. There are 4 of us all together. How many pieces will each get? So let's represent this as a little bar model first that everybody should be used to. So if I think here is the cake and I've got 16 altogether. So that's what the whole thing is worth, 16. I want to share it equally between 3 of my friends plus me, so 4 people altogether. So I want to share it by 4, just like that. Now, if you're then wanting to work out how many pieces that everybody should get, the calculation you're trying to do is 16 divided by 4. Now, hopefully lots of people will know that from their times tables already. If you don't know, it's easy to work it out. So if we think about, if we just draw 16 little dots to represent the pieces of cake, so it doesn't matter how I'm drawing them, okay, I've just drew them quickly like that. I want to now split it into groups of 4. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to divide by 4. So if I do that really quickly, so there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4. Can we see that each little group has 4 little pieces of cake in them represented by the dots? That tells us that 16 divided by 4 actually gives us 4. So 4 would go into each piece. And that makes sense. If we added that up, well, 4 add 4 is 8. 8 add 4 is 12. 12 add on 4 does indeed give us 16. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. Make sure that you're also answering the question though, okay, because it says how many pieces will each get. So finish it off by saying 4 pieces. Second question, same idea. So it says there are 24 children in the class. They need to be split into 4 groups. How many children will there be in each group? So again, I'm going to represent this as a little bar. So I've got 24 children in total and I want to separate them into 4 groups and I want to know how many children has to go in each. Now again, some people might know this straight away from their times table. So 24 divided by 4. So you're trying to think of how many groups of 4 can you get in 24? Okay, that's what the division sum is actually asking. How many groups of 4 are there in 24? Now again, if you wanted to draw that out quickly, it wouldn't take you long. 24, I mean, it's a little bit of hassle, but if you needed it, there's no issue with that. Okay, so I'm going to do it really, really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now you can see that didn't take me long. Okay, you can do that if you need to do it, then do it. I'm going to just change the pen ever so slightly. So again, I'm looking for groups of 4 here, so let's try and group them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got all of the little dots in groups of 4, and there's 6 groups in total. So that means that 24 divided by 4 will give us the answer 6. Oh, I need to change my pen back. And again, that makes sense if I put 6 in here. Well, 6 add 6 is 12, add on 6 is 18, add on another 6 gets us to the total of 24. So if I wanted to split the children up into groups of 4, I would need to have 6 children in each group. Now remember, the other way that you could have thought about this problem, if you don't want to have to go to the hassle of drawing them all out, the other way that you could think about it is as a reverse times table. So if I go back to here and say I don't actually know the answer right now, well, I know that the calculation is going to be 4 lots times by something to get the answer 24. I'm thinking, how many groups of 4, so how many groups of 4 do I have to do to get the answer 24? And if we think of our times tables, then it's 4 6s to get 24. So same answer either way. Now, if I look at the next problem, I have a bit of an issue here. It says I have 726 cupcakes to sell at the fair. The fair lasts for 3 days. How many do I want to sell each day? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do not feel like drawing 726 little dots here to help me out. So the little dots give you an idea of actually what division is, what we're actually trying to do. We're trying to share a quantity into equal groups, but I don't want to have to draw 726 of them. I'm going to start it off laying it out the same way. So I've got my bar, and that's worth 726, that's the total. And the fair lasts 3 days, and I want to know how many cakes I need to sell each day. So I'm going to split it up into the 3 days. Problem is, I don't want to have to draw 726. So what we do is we lay it out as a little calculation like this. So 726 goes here. Some people call it a bus stop because it kind of looks like the little bus shelter things. And I want to divide it by 3. That's the calculation I'm trying to do. I'm trying to split it up into the 3 days. Now, what you're trying to do here is you're taking it number at a time. So I'm going to just start with the 7 here. I'm going to say how many groups of 3 are there in 7. So now I can draw my little dots if I need help. So if I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many groups of 3 can I get out of that? Well, there's 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3. I can't make another group of 3. Can we see that? There's only 1 left. So I can make 2 groups of 3, so that goes up there. And then the little one that's left over, we pass on to the next number. So it goes there like that. That now makes the next number 12. Okay, it's not 2 anymore, it's now 12. And I do the same thing. I say how many groups of 3 can I now get in 12? Okay, so I'm now looking at this part here. So how many groups of 3 are there in 12? So we could draw out our little dots. If you need to draw out the dots, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, you can think of it as a reverse times table. You could say 3 times by what gets me 12. So how many groups of 3 are there in 12? So the answer would be 4. So 4 goes up here. And then the last part, how many groups of 3 are there in 6? So 3 times by what gets me 6? So it would be 3 times 2. 2 goes up there. I could put this back into my little diagram I started with. So it's 242 that goes in each. And I answer my question, so it says how many do I want to sell each day? So 242 cakes each day. Something like that. The sentence at the end doesn't have to be perfect, okay, as long as it answers the question. So let's have a go. I'm going to skip a couple of these. I'm going to move on to, let me see, another one with a big number. Yeah, let's move on to this one. So it says there's 519 penguins need to be put into 3 pools. How many will go in each pool? So again, let's draw it as a little bar first. Let's represent it. So I've got 519 penguins, so that's the total, and I want to split them, so share them between the 3 pools. Okay, so again, I have that problem. I don't want to have to draw out 519 little dots to help me here. That's too many. It'll take all day. So I'm going to use the little calculation that I can do for division. So I'm wanting to divide 519 by 3. Now see this part here, if you ever get confused about what part goes on the outside, always think if you drew it as your little bar, the way I've done here, the 3 part is however many bars there are. Okay, that's the bit that goes on the outside, however many little bits that your bar's broken into, sorry. Okay, so if you'd broke that up into 7 parts there, then 7 will go on the outside. So it's however many little bits of your bar you have, that goes on the outside of the division. So again, I'm going to look at this step by step. I'm going to first of all say how many groups of 3 are there in 5. If I wanted to draw my dots, then that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many groups of 3 can I get out of that? Well, only 1. Okay, because there's 2 left over. So I've got 1 group, so that goes at the top. Always the number of groups you can get go at the top. And then there's 2 left over. So remember what we do, we pass that on to the next number. So then we're going to say, how many groups of 3 are there in 21? Well, again, I could draw 21 little dots, and if you need to do that, until you get confident to work on your times tables, do it, okay, because it works every time, as long as you draw the right amount of dots. But otherwise you could use your reverse times tables, because we know that the division and multiplication are just reverse of each other. So you could say 3 times by what gets me 21. How many groups of 3 do I need to get 21? So it's 7. 3 times 7 is 21. So 7 goes up here. And then the last one, how many groups of 3 are there in 9? So 3 times by what gets you 9? So 3 3s are 9. So that would go up here. So I put it into my little bar, and if I wanted to double check, if I added up 173, 173, 173, that would indeed give me 519. So I make sure I answer the question at the end. It says how many will go in each pool. So remember the question was you were trying to share the total number of penguins between the 3 pools. So it will be 173 penguins in each pool. Okay. So I know that lots of people have covered division before. Some people might be really, really confident with it, which is brilliant. Some people might need a little bit of practice. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do the work that your teacher has put onto your Google Classroom, okay, to practice a little bit more revision, and make sure that you're asking any questions if you're unsure.